I wanna take you for a ride.
Dangerous Kickstarters and Indiegogo campaigns that for the most part sadly did get funded, and campaigns that sadly did, or at the very least could have caused some serious harm. That's the topic of today's video, looking back at hundreds and hundreds of campaigns over the last 7 years and choosing some of the absolute worst in this 5 dangerous Kickstarter scam projects. Welcome to Slope's Game Room, hit that subscribe button, now let's get on with the first one.
So, would you mind stepping out of the car and doing a breath test?
Look, you had 2 pints, you're over the limit. That's a 12-month ban and a criminal record.
Hey, it's company policy. I've got to let you go.
I know there's only 20,000 on the clock, but that's my final offer.
That's just great, Matt. No license, no job. Now what?
So, what's it gonna be?
Right. Now, I think we can all agree that drink driving isn't a good thing. Lives get taken every single day due to the carelessness of that knobhead at the pub who fancied just a couple more swigs. There is literally no excuse for it. If someone says they're banned from driving because of alcohol, well, it serves them right, doesn't it? But as a guy that does like the odd can of Slope's Game Room branded the Complete History beer, shout out to Wild Weather Ales, what am I to do? Well, I could obviously not drink, that's no fun, but instead I could just get the Alien 2 phone app instead. But hang on a minute, how does a phone tell if you're drunk or not, I hear you ask? Well, the more you drink, the more your speech develops delicate changes in speech production, often known as slurred speech, and the app picks them up. Thank God this Kickstarter failed. Well, technically it didn't fail. The funding was cancelled, not by Kickstarter, but by Oceanus Mobile Solutions instead. The biggest issue with the whole campaign is that they plastered this drunk driving thing all over it, and the second half of the video is actually talking about using the app to help alcoholics. Again, I still don't think this is a good idea. After all, the backbone of this whole project is based on how well you can handle your drink. But perhaps talking just about this aspect completely would have been in the project's benefit. Oh yes! I forgot to mention, this whole thing was based on a subscription model service. There you are, drunk as a fart, you got your trusted app out and, silly drunken me, I forgot to top up my subscription service. It's pretty obvious what I'm gonna be doing next, isn't it? Well, if you backed $500, which someone actually did by the way, you can at least enjoy a nice hot beverage in your personalised Alien Tooth mug as you grieve over the family you just killed. So, well, you know, every cloud and all that. Stop right there. Before carrying on with this video, here's a quick word from the sponsor, Fume. Now, cold turkey may be great on sandwiches, but there's a better way to break those bad habits. And no, I'm not talking about some mind voodoo from your neighbours. I'm talking about Fume, as this is the company that looks at those bad habits a different way. Not everything in a bad habit is wrong. So instead of a drastic, uncomfortable change, why not just remove the bad from your habit? Fume is an innovative, award-winning flavour air device that does just that. Instead of electronics, Fume is completely natural. Instead of vapour, Fume uses flavoured air. And instead of harmful chemicals, Fume uses all natural and delicious flavours. It's a habit you're free to enjoy and makes replacing your bad habit easy. It fills the void in a natural, guilt-free way. Your Fume comes with an adjustable airflow dial and is designed with movable parts and magnets for fidgeting, giving your fingers a lot to do, which is helpful for distressing whilst breaking your habit. Base was launched in January. It's a weighted stand to rest your Fume on when not in use, with a magnet inside that keeps your Fume attached. Your Fume device can then be spun around on it, which is again good for fidgeting. Now guys, I've got to be honest, this product isn't really for me because I've never had that bad habit, nor would I ever take a sponsorship on that would promote that bad habit. But for me, this, after looking into it, It is literally, except for the fact that, you know, I do like to fidget quite a lot and it's very good for that, this is a great alternative way from my research to help break that bad habit. I mean, it is literally just flavoured air. If this sounds like it would benefit you, or if you're interested in finding out why and how Fume has served over 150,000 customers so far, then click the link below and use code SLOPE for 10% off. Once again, thanks Fume for sponsoring this video, but now let's carry on with the video. So, here we have something that couldn't be more hipster if it tried. Look, I get it, I'm British, I like me a good old cup of tea just as much as the next chap, but I sure as hell am not up for spending $29 on a glass jar. But then again, maybe that's just me. In fact, I can guarantee it's just me because they did find 6,248 people that are willing to slap down money on this campaign. Roll the video.
Loose leaf has always been the highest quality tea available. Brewing this type of tea on the go is challenging. We wanted to simplify and perfect this timeless method so more people can enjoy it. Our team designed Imbue to make it easy to brew great tasting loose leaf tea anywhere. We analyzed the brewing process in a collaborative group to make a creative and innovative product.
The vessel features a stainless steel strainer that magnetically connects with the lid to effortlessly steep a single serving of loose leaf tea. The body is made from high temperature resistant borosilicate glass insulated by a protective sleeve and covered with a bamboo hardwood lid. Tea can be brewed for as long as you like by flipping the vessel upside down.
Yep, they like totally earned $362,679 of only a $20,000 campaign. And, like I said earlier, it got shipped. Simple as that, right? Right? Wrong. Sure, in the early days of this campaign hitting its goal, everything seemed fine, the updates came in frequently, and they was even kind enough to promote similar campaigns that they thought their hipster audience would appreciate. For instance, the Mito. Roll the campaign video.
Everyone around the world loves a cup of hot tea, and so do we. But there's a problem. The electric kettle. Everyone always overfills it, heating excess water and wasting energy. Research proves that 1 day of extra energy used from overfilling electric kettles is enough to light all the street lights in England for a night.
With Mito, we set out to solve this problem. Mito only heats as much water as you need in the vessel of your choice. Simply fill your cup with water, place it onto the induction base, and immerse the rod in the liquid. The base then heats the disc of the rod, which heats the liquid surrounding it, giving you the exact amount of hot water you wanted.
Yeah, okay, it's not exactly, you know, a bad idea. Let's go look at the updates, shall we? As you've been following the updates during the last 2 years, the Mito team has done everything to bring this project to life with input from our backers and partners. While we knew we were embarking on an extremely difficult path to try and make our first product, it has become clear in the last months that we will not be able to deliver the product we initially planned. We have filed for insolvency and are shutting down the project. Oh my god, guys. Literally, I didn't plan this. It's like every single campaign I ever click on ends up becoming a failed project. My bad, I guess. The problem, would you believe it, was apparently down to overheating, an issue they were never able to resolve, which obviously led to the failure of this product, with nobody at all ever receiving one. Still, thanks for the €818,098, guys. Thanks Kickstarter for promoting this as a project we love. And of course, thanks Imbue for promoting us. I'm sure all of your backers are thrilled. Anyway, back to the project in hand. You see, the Imbue being such a massive success, getting orders blowing up way past the expected goal, it was apparent that they needed to get this thing manufactured on a much larger scale, whilst at the same time keeping it cheap. Obviously, that was indeed going to be a struggle, but obviously, yes, they did get it done. Chinese manufacturing to the rescue on this one, as you would have probably expected, and they too delivered what was asked of them. But the big problem wasn't who made it, it was how it was made. You see, the big problem with a cool idea such as this was that no hot air could escape from the trapped area that it was in whilst brewing your cuppa. But what does this actually mean? Come on, think about it. You don't need me to actually explain this, do you? Alright. You know what? I'm going to do you one better. I'm going to go to the comment section of this very campaign and let the people that actually got the imbue explain for themselves what happens when hot air is trapped inside a container that it can't get out of. Used this thing once and the thing bloody exploded with hot water. I'm better chucking my second one to the recycle bin or use it as a flower or pencil holder. Hello, this thin glass and hot water do not mix. Have you gone through proper testing? Extremely dangerous. Used it twice, both times the top blown off, hot water everywhere, burning myself. I want compensation. Come back to report that my lid is completely useless as it has been warped and cracked, and now I have essentially an exploding vessel. Students in Industrial Design Programme worked as a team to conceptualise a product, refining every detail along the way. You are a disgrace to the university and should never graduate. Shameless and outright incapable engineers and frauds. Alright, mate. To be fair, putting exploding cups of burning tea in people's hands is a pretty crazy thing to have happened here, and thankfully all I found on the exploding hot tea in the comment section was the odd person claiming to be burnt by the product, but thankfully it didn't end up getting any worse than that. To be fair, some of the blame can be put onto the backers themselves, as it looks like the majority of these backers wanted to try it out for the shits and giggles of it anyway, because in the campaign owner's defense, when they discovered that the imbue was defective, they immediately put up an update stating the product has been deemed unsafe and should not be used to hold or store any liquids, hot or otherwise. If you've received an imbue, please do not use it with any liquids, especially hot ones. We cannot and will not be shipping any other imbues out. If you haven't received an imbue, we're sorry that we aren't able to deliver your reward. We would offer partial refunds if we could, but unfortunately, that's not possible. What does this tell us? Well, it tells us that the product was shipped directly from the manufacturer in China, and by the time the campaign owners had got theirs, it was already too late. Not everybody saw this update, and you know, for those people, there really are no excuses for the accidental exploding cup design flaws. But for everyone else, well, you can't say they didn't warn you. But never fear, it doesn't matter if it was your fault or not. Wipe the scalding liquids from your face because you can still get them from Alibaba, where the remaining stock is now being sold for half the price. Like, guys, it's literally the exact same product. And if that's still not good enough for an episode of Kick Scammers, one person in the comment section liked the idea so much that they decided to basically do the same thing. They did, and it got funded even more. And that campaign is currently running late. So, well, you know, it's still early days on that one to a degree. I'm not going to call it a scam, not yet. Just because it's 6 months past its delivery date, it's still early days. And to be fair, they do have a certain pandemic going around currently, giving them the ultimate excuse as to why it's late. And besides, Mossy T did at least learn how not to do it thanks to the incredible idiocy of the imbue team. And if you're thinking to yourself, surely that's the end of the imbue team within the world of hot beverage designing, again, you're completely wrong. Because it looks like Ashgon Nima, the founder and designer of the T-Bomb, did in fact end up doing alright for himself, as he's ended up becoming an industrial designer at Starbucks. You literally can't make this up, can you? Be sure to be extra vigilant next time you're in Starbucks and you order yourself a vanilla bean mocha frappuccino, although I don't know why you ever would. And yeah, to finally wrap up this story all nice and weird like, is yet another invention by the Imbue team that I found on a patents website whilst researching this episode, called Method for Making Coffee Products Containing Cannabis Ingredients. Again, you can't make this up.
Ryan, you have a wolf on line 1.
Thank you, Aaron.
This is one of those products that will split my audience right down the middle. Take a look at this. So the big question is, do dogs really need smart collars? Regardless of what you may think, 723 backers believe so as they smashed that $50,000 goal asking price and got it to $90,596. This collar lets you speak to your dog directly, and like a phone, they can talk back. On top of this, there is the invisible lead, which buzzes and gives audio cues when he gets too far away. You got geofencing alerting you if your dog manages to escape, training programs, and eventually games that would be announced later down the line, all linked together with an app on your mobile phone.
Hey buddy, can you hear me? I'll be home soon. Be a good boy.
If you're a dog lover, this is definitely for you. And if you are indeed a dog lover, then the heart-pulling tale of the wolf collar being made because the founder's dog ran into the road and died is most definitely, well, I'm sure it helps sales.
Sadly, this mission all began when our little dog Roxy ran off chasing a squirrel as she loved to do and was hit and killed by a car.
So yeah, a nicely made video and a decent enough looking product, although I gotta say it's a collar that is a tad questionable if you ask me. I mean, come on, a speaker on a dog's neck is seriously gonna wind it up if it can hear you but can't see you. All in all, the other features seem to be readily available already by plenty of well-established companies with plenty of great reviews. So what's happened to this? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Wolf started its life back in November of 2014 with an expected release date of November 2015. This date obviously got pushed back again and again and again until it all went silent. The website's gone, the social media pages are gone, and sadly so have many of the dogs who this collar was purchased for. Yep, the sad truth of it is, looking at the comments on this particular campaign, most of which have spent $150 on getting this device, well, it's been so long that some of those dogs are now dead. And there is still no sign of the product getting a release date. So yeah, who knows how many dogs will pass away whilst we wait for this thing to actually come out. My guessing is all of them. We all need to shave, some more than others, but if you're like me, you probably keep hold of those razors a tad longer than the use by date until that nice clean glide the first time you use it then becomes a skin ripping cheese grater feeling mess. Wouldn't it be great to have that smooth shave feel every single time you use the razor? Introducing the Laser Razor. Yes. A frickin' laser beam that you rub on your face. Surely nothing's gonna go wrong here, right? Well, originally the campaign asked for a wafty $160,000, but actually ended up getting $4,500,111. That's before it was cancelled. Not by Scarp Technologies, mind you, but instead Kickstarter themselves.
Hello folks, we appreciate your support on Kickstarter. It's been overwhelming, and we're overwhelmingly pleased and surprised at how much support we get from you.
You see, on October the 8th, the team did one of the most boring update videos addressing a few concerns over the safety, battery life, as well as a few other bits that I have ever seen. It was apparent that the prototype was basically just an exaggerated idea, and they didn't really have much more than concept art and tech demos up to this point. unlike the promotional video that very much gives the impression that they already have manufacturers in place and all they need is capital to start production.
We really need your support to put the Scarp Racer into production. We have preliminary agreements with manufacturers, but we require capital to begin orders.
Anyway, it turned out that after that update video on the 8th, Kickstarter wasn't happy with the process up to this point and pulled the plug only 5 days later, taking away at least $4 million from Scarp Technologies. The team then moved over to Indiegogo, and although using the exact same promotional video and still asking for $289 plus $10 postage, they indeed managed to reach their goal, however this time only getting $507,810. Although looking at the names of the backers, maybe a few of them are here just to try and protect the gullible. But a short while later, a news report showed off what they had been working on, and it turns out it's pretty crap. But then again, somehow a razor that at the time you can't actually press against your skin, a razor that can only cut one hair at a time, and possibly worst of all, a razor that makes your ugly unshaven mug smell of burnt hair before the thread breaks, yes, the laser also needs a thread, somehow actually does at least get the odd update for those few hardcore backers that still believe in the project. Aww. And finally, keeping with Indiegogo, we have a campaign that sadly isn't available to see anymore, and the Wayback Machine didn't help here either. But the YouTube channel hosting all of the videos does still exist. So we can piece together exactly what the Hapto actually is. So the idea is that this glove pushes little pin-shaped bumps onto your hand to replicate certain surfaces and textures that you would see and then obviously feel in real life. The big problem, however, is its claim that it will work with any headset from mobile to PSVR and all of the big players on PC, when let's get real, that's completely bogus. That is unless they actually got hold of the developers of every single VR game ever made and somehow convinced them to include these added bonuses as DLC, which obviously they didn't. Because, as far as anyone is concerned, in the few places I saw talking about this, the thing didn't exist. It's a great idea to a degree, but that's all it was. An idea that was way too far-fetched, and no matter how many sexy ladies you have dancing around in your IKEA-filled living room, nobody was gonna fall for it, as it is believed that the majority of early birds on the campaign were fake, to drum up interest, aka this was essentially a scam from the very, very beginning, that thankfully didn't pay off. Because it didn't exist. Unlike the unlimited hand. Are you ready to be impressed? Check this out.
Unlimited Hand is the world's first video game controller that allows user to touch the virtual objects in the game world.
Wait! How is that even possible? You're probably thinking it's fake, right? Well, let me tell you right now, guys, it isn't. It actually got funded and it actually exists. Although I'm sure that anybody that did eventually get this thing wished that it didn't.
Okay, for a first test, I'm using the serial interface, and so I can activate this electromuscle stimulation test. So this is number 7. Ouch. And it hurts. It's like electroshock.
Yep, it works quite literally by giving you electric shocks to make your fingers spasm, which is ridiculous. Okay, let's give them one more chance, shall we? Because this device can also pick up muscle movements from your fingers down your arm and use those reactions in the game too, meaning that it works as a controller. So it works the other way round as well. Check this out. God, look at how quick those reactions are. Pretty impressive, right? Not bad for $74,952, right?